difficult that has created a gap between the talent that the employers need and the talents that are being produced out of the universities. And this explains why you have, I think around what, over 400,000 young people getting out of
40,000, over, I think 40.
Over 40,000?
That is Makerere just per year.
The entire country, I think you have over 400,000 young people graduating every year. Because if Makerere can only give you 40,000, what about Nkumba? What about UCU? What about Stewart? What about the rest that we even don't know? There are also some smaller universities that I think legally operate, but we even don't know where they are.
So basically what you're trying to explain to us is the poor structure of the education system.
No, not the poor structure. It's a non-progressive approach to education. Because I think education has to be progressive. It's never static. That a lot of these things that these people are learning are what our grandparents learned in the universities. And I really think that the world has completely changed.
Because if you brought somebody maybe who has been out, maybe it's in jail 20 years ago, they will reach and get lost. Tech giants have taken over, they're so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think I would ask you as a tech giant, maybe in Uganda, do you have any plans of addressing the issue you're talking about?
Let me first mention them both. Allow me just to mention them. One was the talent. Two is government policies. Oh my goodness. We know for sure that as innovators, we're always faster because we're crazy in the way we think. And the way we think is the way we make headlines every day, and the way we become big and create employment for other people. But also, it's a crazy thinking, and that clearly tells you that in very many situations, regulation always lags behind, because for us, we are thinking in a completely different direction, and the regulators are also thinking in a completely different direction, and that has also been a difficult situation. That some regulations are brought to really like stab us on the back, when one of the things that we keep advocating for every time is really like, you as the regulators do not look at us as just
money makers.
No, not money makers, as crazy people that needs to be brought to order. And that's one thing that we don't agree with. You know, some people really think like, no, these are just young people who are doing crazy things, and we just need to bring them to order. You know, put some law in place so that they can get online. Allow us to fly. Look at us as partners, and this is what we'll also be telling government. That's why when you follow very well the stories, you know, when Innovation Outbox came, government didn't know what these people were doing. But today they are the ones building the same kind of infrastructures. And I think this is something that it's a story that most people should be able to learn from. The third thing is money, investment. To be honest with you, you see Safe Boda, we don't have any investor from here. They have money. But the issue we have is that we have investors who only believe in big apartments, big buildings, you know, big malls, the big apartments, big hotels. It's good for tourism. I want to believe that this is amazing. You see, when you see a structure like a Kasha Mall, it's actually become one big tourist attraction. That everyone who comes to Kampala, you have to visit the Kasha Mall for you to feel like you're in Kampala. But then Kampala does not end with the Kasha Mall. You have to visit the Kampala Mall and just cross the road and get to Kamboja and get to see another version of Kampala as well. So this kind of investors is putting us in a very difficult situation, because they like to put big buildings, buy a big house, buy a huge chunk of land. But then we're looking at a situation right now that if we don't have our local people investing in such a situation, then we are headed for the worst. Because technology is here, and it's here to stay, and it will take over. So if your local people or if your government has not invested in technology, they'll be helping other people make money. And we really think that government should have an intentional policy to protect some of the local initiative. I keep telling people every day that you see Safe Boda is a Ugandan born. Today you will start claiming that it's not Ugandan because you have not invested in it. And it's very simple. We We've been struggling with this in Chebando in a one room of 150,000. Today we have grown, and over the time we have employed over 700,000 over 700 people. We have empowered over 20,000 borders. We have expanded cross borders. But someone is there saying, hey, Safe Border is not Uganda. We are saying, come and invest in some of this initiative. I will not blame anybody who starts moving around and saying Safe Border is not Ugandan when they invest, when they say, oh, you know, Safe Border, what do you need to be able to move to the next level? Because a lot of these people do not, a lot of the investors that we have, first is they don't have a background in technology. I think they're not ready to appreciate technology, and that's a very difficult situation. And that is why stories like the ones of Safe Border needs to be protected, so that we can have the next billionaires coming out from Uganda from the space of technology, so that they can invest in other technology, in other innovation that are yet to come. And that's a story that needs to continue. It's a progressive journey that does not only need, does not have to stop with us. So these three things, talent, policies, and investment, if addressed, the rest can be fine. The rest we can deal with it. Because if I've created employment opportunity, today, the most paid person, let me say even at Safe Border, is a tech person. It's someone who has a feasible, someone who has knowledge, someone who has talent, not someone who presents you with a certificate. Because if you look at how much engineers are being paid, by the way, engineers could be just a graduate from a university, but have spent 6 months training on how to write those code and became better at it. But you will easily pay an engineer way, maybe 5 times a person who is in the support center. And I'm not going to blame anybody for that, because it's easy to replace someone who is at the gate, at the reception, and all this, but it's difficult to replace an engineer. And the work the engineers do are so technical that, and the demand is so high. By the way, that's
it's either him or it won't be done.
Yes, this is, when I say this, a lot of people don't understand me, but my very first engineer was called Masereka Cleve. Masereka Cleve is a Ugandan, and I need to tell people this. Masereka Cleve is a Ugandan from Kasese. Masereka Cleve was very interested in app development. He was very interested in coding. He started I think something engineering, but he decided to invest his time into training on how to on how to become a good engineer. But what happened to him is Masereka Cleve left, went for another course in the US, and is now working for Apple. You know, people hear these things, but I don't know if it is backward something in them. The second engineer we had was called Benjamin Wasukira. He's a Musoga. He's now working for Facebook. These are things that lots of people don't know. We have a guy. I think we also have a guy called. Is it called Faizo? Is it called Faizo? I think he's also working for Apple. We also have another young man. What is his name? Working for Walmart. So we have I think close to 10 young people who are working with us as engineers in Uganda, who have left. Ugandans, yes, and they have taken this to another level. And I tell you this, that if you look at how much money these people pocket, it's insane. It's insane. Like, this guy has come back and you're like, hey man, Ricki, you can't employ me anymore, because now I can employ you, I can be your investor into your business. These are the stories we are looking for. Yeah. Because engineering pays. I think it's like the most paying job in the world right now. If you're not looking for other crappy pay, but I think engineering is like one of the most paying jobs.
Because when you look at the list of billionaires, top are all in tech and engineering.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, there are individuals who have grown because of tech, and they have money that is more than the GDP of a country. And I mean, if you look at a guy like Jeff Bezos, you can't complain. I mean, he beats many East African countries. If you look at guys like Mark Zuckerberg, these
very young men.
Very young men. These are young men, by the way, with literally most of them. I mean, look at a guy like Bill Gates. Look at the guy of Alibaba, Jack Ma. Look at all these guys. These are guys who do not have the best degrees. They don't have the best degrees. Some of them are dropout chaps. And these are the same stories that we are replicating from Kampala. I'm not saying young people should not go to school. No. But I'm also saying that as you look at these products, because you know, Google, these big companies, Facebook, these are like, they employ hundreds and thousands of engineers.
And most people are even employed indirectly.
Yes, people are even working remotely. Lots of people are here and they're working for Google. So this is what we're looking for.
So there's a time I was on Boda, so I tried asking one of the drivers. I told him, how have you benefited from Boda in terms of income generation? And the guy tells me, I don't rest. When I take a passenger, then immediately the trip stops, I get another one. I don't have time to spend on the stage. So that's how I make more money than I was making before. That brings me to a question of, what is the income generation mode of Boda, you as the owners, you as the investors? Because most tech companies have advertising, but when I go through the Boda app, there's nothing like an advert.
So first thing is, let me explain what this driver said. Historically, a traditional border man has to leave home without a customer. And he will drive up to a stage, a dedicated location. He sits there and waits and prays hard that someone walks to the stage. So someone walks to the stage and he gets this person, takes them to where this person is going, and then he drops this person and he has to come back to the very stage to get another customer. Now that's the most frustrating thing, that a border man spends 30% of his time waiting, 30% of his time taking you, and 30% of his time returning back on trip. Now the price you're paying, there are for three different things that are almost irrelevant to you as a customer. And that is why the price you pay when you jump on a border in the stage is way too expensive. Why? He's waiting for you, you have to pay for his waiting time. A second thing is he's going to take you, so you have to pay for his time of taking you and his fuel of taking you. After he has dropped you, he has to come back to the stage to wait for another customer. So you have to pay for the fuel that will bring him back to the stage for him to be able to wait for another customer. What Boda has done has only made it very easy for a border man who has graduated to become a safe border to get a business after business after business after business. And that has reduced on waiting time. And that has made them earn way more than a normal border. On average, a safe border earn, I think, 50 to 70,000 shillings a day. But you know, there are guys who shoot up to 120. But on average, 50 to 70,000 shillings a day. While a normal border man averages around 30,000 shillings, because also there's a number of trips that these people take. If you're packed in the stage, I think the maximum trip you can go for is like 10. But with safe border, you're looking at average of 10 to 15 trips in a day. So that has really brought a complete different change in the industry. As safe border, of course, we take a commission from the trips that is transacted. And this has been negotiated and agreed upon, and it's lower than any other person in this industry. That's why I told you, you can't compare us to anybody, because most of these companies that you hear about, they aim for like 25%, from 20 to 25. Some even go to 30%, but as safe border, we only take 15%. From the trip as a commission, and that's why we're able to generate a little bit of income. But as of to date, we haven't yet broken event. We are not yet making money, but we hope that one day, if God wishes, with the support of the Ugandans, we will be able to make money and again reinvest that money into our people, because we don't need. If you make billions of money, you don't need it for yourself. You need it for the population.
You had started selling, I think, merchandise. Then there was also deliveries. And I recently checked the app, some of them were not there.
Which app?
I recently checked app, the deliveries. I got a notification that we're no longer doing delivery.
We are doing an update on our platform. I don't want to say we are completely running away from that. This has been a service that was clearly monitored from the behavior of our customers, that people would be in their offices, but then they would order a border to come to their place of work, give them an item and ask them to deliver, or the safe border, and then ask them to take this to a location. So we monitor that, and we are able to build a custom-made system. But of course, this system continues to require upgrade and improvement. So we are still improving on our system, but as of today, I can still clearly tell you, Food and Shop is still available. You can buy your health product from our platform. You can buy your fresh binyanya, butungulu. I think we're working with 16 markets in Kampala. You can still buy airtime. You can still use the cashless wallet to buy fuel at a discount in all Shell stations across Kampala. So all these products are still there, but we are continuing to improve on them and make them much more better. But we will never stay away from these products that that is in the heart of our business, because the reality is when people get to work, a lot happens. People want papers to be moved, people want documents to be moved and stuff like that. And we think a safe board is well placed to do that. Even when you're in your office, you need food. And the partnership that we have with the different restaurants and also our cloud kitchen help give you access to better food. Even sometimes you want to buy airtime, and the fastest way is to use Safe Boda. And also, maybe when you're home, you might want to cook, like over the weekend or today, public holiday, you might want to cook. So the best way to do is just go into your app, order for nyanya, butungulu, carrots, they deliver to your doorstep, and then you'll be able to do your shopping from like select shops across town and be able to have it at your doorstep. So we'll continue to improve. It's a learning
Work in progress.
Yeah, it's work in progress. We'll continue to improve and make them better.
Ricki, even before the pandemic, you so much advocated for cashless as a means of payment.
Yeah.
But from my personal experience with the Safe Boda, most of these drivers don't like cashless. What would be the reason behind that?
So there is a situation that happened, I think, that was brought about by the pandemic, because I think some people underestimated the effect of COVID-19, that lots of people got in debt, where lots of drivers were very uncomfortable with receiving cashless because they had lots of other debts that were these people are taking cash loans to take their children to school. They're taking bike loans. I think within that time, Safe Boda, with the partnership with Watu, they had given out like over 4,000 bikes in a period of 6 months. So there was a difficult financial situation that caused a little bit of that situation, but we've been able to harmonize that and have a discussion with our drivers. If anything like that ever happens, it means possibly there's a gap. There's a need for us to continue to sensitize our drivers. But also, during the pandemic, it was difficult to redeem cashless because lots of drivers were struggling to get out their money within the Safe Boda wallet. And we've continued to improve on that. I think we have 14 locations today as I speak where a Safe Boda can drive to, and then withdraw his money or deposit money into his Safe Boda wallet. So it was a combination of that. But we think that by continuing to educate our drivers on the cashless usage, then also making it easier for them to get it out and also making it easier for them to use it, and also harmonizing the loan situation that was brought about by COVID-19 will make will make our drivers not to really say no to the cashless.
One thing I noticed is if I use cashless, I would pay less than somebody who's using cash. Why is it yet we move the same distance?
So it was a promotion. Intentionally, the best thing to do, even today, even going forward, is to allow people to be able to move using cashless and travel and make payment using cashless as easy as possible. Just imagine a situation where you arrive home in the middle of the night, possibly assuming there was no curfew and you arrive home at 10 p.m., and then you offer a driver like 10,000 shillings and you want him to give you a balance of 3,000 shillings, and he doesn't have. So that would create a much difficult situation. And we think that the best way to solve that, the issue of change, the issue of people running away with my balance and stuff like that, would be to allow our customers to pay using cashless. It requires a lot of education, it requires a lot of sensitization, it requires a lot of promotion as well to get people to test it so that they can then start to use it. So that's why we're giving you a discounted price when you use cashless than someone who uses cash, because cash is an inconvenience for many other people. And I think the country also needs cashless. You've even heard of discussions where people are saying if you go to the bank to withdraw cash, you should be charged for trying to withdraw cash. All this discussion is really like aimed at trying to promote cashless economy, which some countries have been able to appreciate because of the infrastructure that has been built all around. Because the cashless economy does not work on one thing. It's a combination of different infrastructures that needs to be put in place.
it is more advocated for because digital money, which is cashless, I think people depend more on credit. I think that's the theory. And I would ask you, Facebook, another tech giant, had intentions of introducing their own currency, which is the Libra currency. Does SafeBoard have a dream like that?
It's very early on to really think about having our own currency. We haven't discussed that.
I want to benchmark with Facebook because it is the most visible tech startup we have in Uganda that you talk about and everyone else knows. So that's why I always want to benchmark on Facebook, on SafeBoard.
I think to be specific, we always deal with what we call a 5-year plan. So in our 5-year strategy, we don't have anything like a safe border currency. Maybe after 5 years, but as I am aware, according to the work that we want to do and the dreams and the goals that we want to achieve, safe border currency is not part of it.
I have a very hot question, but I think I'll save it for last. So for now,
yeah, but you're asking me a very difficult question. I don't think anyone has ever asked me about safe border currency. To the people out there watching Galaxy Business.
Yeah, Galaxy Business.
Yes, Galaxy Business with Bob. Yeah. In the safe border plan, the 5-year plan that we have, and even in the master plan that I've been able to see and review, we don't have safe border currency in it. And I can assure you.
You see, maybe this could be brainstorm
but possibly after this question, we might think about reviewing our plans.
When you make the money, don't forget me for brainstorming a very brilliant idea like this.
Yeah, but that's difficult. That's a very that's a
government policies and everything.
Difficult situation, and I really think that Facebook might go through a much difficult situation. Currencies, I think the only people that can have currencies are countries, not private companies, and that is still a much difficult situation. And anyone who is getting into must be ready for it.
Ricki, in your, I would call it a 6-year journey, though it has been more than 6 years, because I'm looking at 2014 when SafeBoda started. You've achieved so much success that you've been, I think, named among the top influential people, young influential people in Africa. How does that make you feel? How does changing people's lives feel, and what is the future for you?
Just to give even the viewers more light, is that 2017 I won the Young Achievers Award. I think many people know about that. I also won the Pakasa Award in 2017 as well. In 2018, I was luckily one of the few who got recognized by Forbes magazine and under 30 promising young entrepreneurs, and that was really like a bright light that was focused on a young man from Kampala, Uganda, and I think that was very encouraging. I think it woke me up. It woke a lot of people up, including myself. SafeBoda won the Best African App Award in 2018. Actually, you could see that as well. And then in 2019, I got a recognition from at the time the current president of the African Union, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, under the program, under the World Youth Program umbrella, where I recognized a few, I think 5 young people from Africa. From Africa for their contribution in shaping the future of youth, and I was the only young man from Kampala who got the recognition. And then the second one from East Africa was from Tanzania, a lady, and then there was another young girl from South Africa called Stacy Fu, and then 2 young men from Nigeria. One of them is Dr. Sowemomo, who has grown to become my very good friend. He's a guy behind Infometrics. You should find out about it. A very interesting product. And then one of them is actually a teacher. A young man who has dedicated his life to teaching people and making teaching more fun and more unique. And then in the Arab world, there were also other 5 young people who are recognized. And I think that is something that has never been published very well. But World Youth Forum is one of the biggest platforms for young people in the whole world. That has created a bit of a vibe, and of course, I've got recognition for, promising, blah, 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 inspirational. I've gotten the opportunity, I think I also got the invitation from London School of Economic and Political Science to speak to the students. I presented Safe Boda into UN conferences and stuff like that. Very many platforms.
So, with those achievements, what is your future plan for the youth?
Bob, I think
As Safe Boda as a company.
Bob, to be honest, as Safe Boda, I think we have one important thing that we want to continue to put it out there in the public, and that is our story. How we've been able to grow from literally nothing to where we are today is a story that young people need to learn from. And we think that as a country, if the story is packaged and told well and shared properly, the story is going to trigger a lot of other innovation and going to create a platform for many young people to be more open about their journey, be more open about their creativity, and also it's going to be a point of attraction for many young people or for many investors, because what usually happens that globally is really like people want to know what is happening, and people want to invest where there are actually success stories. If SafeBot is one of the success stories from Uganda, I think lots of investors will be willing to trust more Ugandans a lot, and would be willing to invest more in Ugandan startup, Ugandan innovation, and I think that will create a much better platform. The second thing that we will plan to do, apart from just continuing to share our story and possibly building that to an extent that other young people or other investors can benefit from, is really like we will continue to advocate for what's best for the industry. I think there are a number of challenges that we have gone through. As I did mention earlier on, there are three main ones. We think that we can change this narrative. Issues of talent and skills, I think as an institution, even before COVID, we had a program where our engineers were training other young graduates, other young passionate engineers as well, or would call them amateur engineers, or people who are interested in being engineers as well. And we think that kind of relationship, bringing freshers from the university who are interested in coding, in becoming innovators, to interact with the people that we work with, to interact with experienced group of people who have been able to build a product that, as cross borders, would be an amazing platform that, when created well, will also help in bridging the gap that I was talking about between the Basomesa and the employer. So I think that's something that SafeBoda will continue to do. Apart from advocating and basically building bridges that is best for the industry, I think one important thing that possibly will not stay away from is basically, apart from telling our story, building a bridge and continuing to seal that platform, we really have a very good interest in continuing to invest in our space. And we really think that SafeBoda can grow bigger and better. As I did mention, that we are a company with a global dream, but with a local approach. When we come to Kampala, we want to be like the Kampalians. We want to be like the Nairobians. What that means is that we are taking SafeBoda to Nairobi. We'll make sure that the leadership of SafeBoda in Nairobi are Nairobians. The creativity also takes in consideration the culture of those people. And those are the things that we'll continue to do. And also, we have also realized that SafeBoda is really a platform that is bringing thousands of young people together to be able to meet. You have the customers that are interacting using the platform, and you have the drivers that are interacting using the platform. We think that once you have people together in one place, you could build a number of other products. And one big dream that we will continue to carry is to be able to build a super app that is locally owned. Just like you go to other places in the world, maybe like China, where you can actually use one app to do everything that you need. We think that is possible, that is achievable, and that can start from Chebando, Kampala, Uganda. I think that is what we think we will continue to do going forward.
There's a question I saved for last. It is a very hot one that has been trending.
Which one is that?
Personally, from my safe border experience, I would be 100% sure that I'm safe whenever I boarded the safe border, whether it's at night or during day. But you recently updated your terms and conditions, and they caused a lot of backlash. Why did you opt to go that way?
Bob, I'll put you on the spot. Can you give me the mic?
Yeah.
I want to put you on the spot. Bob, how many apps do you have in your phone?
A number of them, I can't tell.
Did you read did you read the terms and conditions before accepting to use these apps?
No.
You've been using Safe Border before.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
What did the previous terms and conditions say?
I did not read the previous terms and conditions, but at least I read the ones that came.
The ones that came, how many?
Like a fortnight ago, 2 weeks ago.
How many pages was it?
I can't recall, but I picked key highlights.
Now you can interview me. So please don't cut this. And for me, this is very, very important. You know, Bob, what we're dealing with is a question of a misguided missile. That, first of all, there's a big issue that we have in this country, especially for us in the tech space, that a lot of people actually do not take keen interest in reading the terms and conditions. That is an issue.
It is a culture within us.
It's a culture within us. A second thing here also is that a lot of people jump onto things and allow other people to speak to them. There's been, if someone is going to read for me the terms and conditions and is not going to read 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, I will pay a lot of attention. But there's been a whole manipulation of our terms and conditions to mean we are not safe at all. And that's like the sad story that we have to deal with. That even when I ask Bob, did you read our terms and conditions? He will say, yes, but he only read a screenshot that came in his phone that was shared all over social media and all over the WhatsApp groups. We also need to accept that there are situations that we're going through that we were not supposed to be going through. But because social media has also become a battleground for people taking their anger and people taking their frustration, not actually, for us as a business, we take it as a platform to receive feedback. But a lot of people pour their anger instead of really having a logical argument by saying, we feel this is not safe, but then maybe you would have said it in this way. That sounds like a suggestion. Because when you look at the discussion that trended a lot, was just that screenshot, a picture of a guy with 3 plates of food, that after now the border guy has read the terms and conditions, he was able to eat your food comfortably, knowing that there's nothing you can do with them. You've seen these things.
Yeah, I actually saw what you're talking about.
I followed the discussion very closely. It was a very small group of people that actually, what we have seen is really, of course, we monitored the conversation going on social media, but we also monitored what was going on in our app and in our system, that the conversation that was going on really never changed a thing. Actually, I think lots of people got interested in the work that we do. The reason we updated our terms and conditions is the question that people are asking when they didn't know that these terms and conditions were actually there in 2017, 2018. The same things we are saying were actually there, but we just added a few other things. And that's why we call it an update, because it's not a completely new thing. It's an update of the version that was already there. I was looking for someone who could tell me, this is what the previous terms and condition was saying, but this is what you guys have brought. So for that reason, you are not safe. Safety is a very big discussion. As I did mention, it's a lot of attitude that you carry on the road and stuff like it, but also a lot of preparation that you need to go through. And what we have always been doing by making sure we train our driver, we equip them so that they are visible on the street, even on the reflector we have their name, on the helmet we have their number, and we make sure we take them through vigorous training. You know, we have customer service training, road service training, first aid training. All these things are done to prepare them, to prepare these drivers, so that they can offer you the best service. This is what is important. Upstairs where we went, actually, Bob, you saw we have a whole consider with hundreds of young people ready to listen to our clients. These are the things that we have always been doing, but people don't know about it. So our service has not changed. The terms and conditions is a legal practice. It's a document that everyone gets to have. One day you'll only realize these things, that some people maybe didn't have good interest for Safe Border and was manipulating the public. Because what actually happened is that a lot of people were sending me only the same screenshot, but they were not reading the entire terms and conditions. And I am trying to tell people here that one is that the terms and conditions is it's a fairly big document, but it's also a fairly detailed document. That for you to be able to understand it, you probably need to read the whole thing. But you just don't read line 4.4, line 4.5, line 4.6, and you're like, I know the terms and conditions of Safe Border. It is unsafe. People should stop using it. Did you see some of the comments that I've been following? And I actually, of course, it got me concerned. Rest in peace. Toina Chotugamba, you know, wafada tugenda kuleta chipia. You know, we are going to bring something new. You have died. Don't tell us anything. We don't want to listen to you. And you're just asking, oh, man, do you think there is, what does that have to mean? I actually think that most of the people who are commenting that rest in peace are not our customers. They are not people who use actually the Safe Border plan. People who are saying delete the Safe Border. So if you delete the Safe Border app, what else do you have? Tubabuze. But tubabuze. As Ugandans, what other stories do you have? Especially in the space of entrepreneurship and innovation. As Ugandans, in the space of transport, which competition do you have that you're telling people, delete the Safe Border app? The best advocacy would have been, Safe Border, we are asking you to improve. Not saying you delete the app. This is not patriotism. This is not, I don't think that was a Ugandan. Like, if you look at how many young people are being employed by Safe Border Innovation, Safe Border Initiative, you cannot even attempt to say delete the app, because that means you're rendering these people jobless. I don't know if people know that unemployment is such a big disease in this country, is such a big problem in this country, that anything that takes away even a job opportunity for 5 people is an issue, is a much bigger issue. So one is, and this is, you know, I've been hearing about social media bullying, and I didn't know these things are actually real. But man, a guy who types rest in peace, Toina Chotugamba, you know, we're together koleta chipia. Safe Border is not Ugandan, I don't even think that person is in Uganda. I don't even think Amanyebia Yogarako. Because, Wabagamati by deleting it, what next?
Well,
are you going to build something from the scratch?
You always have haters and people who have the negative energy but still need positive energy to move.
As Safe Border, we care about good feedback, and that's very important that we listen to our customers. But if you're a hater, man, just stay in your lane.
So basically, the bottom line is Safe Border is still safe as always. So people should be very safe.
You came here using a Safe Border. What was your experience? Just tell the world, Safe Border is still safe. We're still here to serve the people of Kampala. Continue giving us feedback. We will improve. Safe Border was built by you, for you, with your support. And that's it.
Wow, thank you, Ricki. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Maybe we hope to continue the conversation.
I mean, invite me again, man. I want to be again on Galaxy TV.
Sure. Wow, that was Ricki, a real story from grass to glory. Somebody who tells the real Ugandan story should be proud of. It's been a pleasure being with you on Galaxy Business Focus. Till next time, my name is Bob.